Today it's raining, so we're going to do a bit of indoor work. Here's the steering levers for the TD6. I've marked everything up, 2 dots, 1 dot, accordingly. It goes back together a lot easier. There's the 2 dots there, just checking. Anyway, we're going to clean these up. There's a bit of wear on the pivot pin here. That's just a standard inch round piece of steel stock with a hole in, so that's easy enough to replicate. Now in the levers there's bushings. Focusing, and you can see they're quite thin on one side. In fact, you can see they're down to the steel line in there, and that's what gives us the play in the levers, the waddle in the levers. So I'm just making a drift up over on the lathe out of a piece of old steel, bit of old shaft I found in scrap. Just turned it down just so that will be like a pilot to start in the bush, and then we can beat the bushes out. Trying to do this and hold the phone at the same time here. Loosen that off. That's it. Oh, that's nice. You can just make out the very edge of the bush there, so that should just be able to pound that through and knock them out. Obviously I can't hold the phone and do that, I need 6 hands or a camera person, so I'll bring you back when I've knocked them out. Although they are knocked out, they weren't in too tight, they're a split bush. Anyway, there's 2. If ever anyone does these and mark them up like I've done there, then you just know how they all go, because when they come to bits for cleaning, you know, it's a bit of head scratcher putting them back together. But they are, there's a bush like that, and then a bush like that, and a cavity in the middle, and the grease goes in there in the passage, and then it can grease between the two, and so there's a sandwich of grease between them. That's how they work. Anyway, the drifter made worked okay, so on with the next. That'll do. Okay, we've made the bar, tool, whatever you want to call it, out of a bit of old scrap steel. We've turned it down so it fits in as a guide. It's just a little bit smaller than the bore in the casting of the lever, and it's now a case, I could put air on it because it does have an air facility on this to but it means blowing up the compressor. It's just for a one-off, it's just as easy just to pump it by hand. Anyway, there we go. We're not even putting any pressure on the clock because it's just split bush, and they're knocking out nice. Well, pushing out nice, I should say. Anyway, this will take a few minutes pumping the handle to get them out, so we'll see you in the next little clip.
Cleaned up, they're done, isn't it?
Here we are making the cross shaft for the levers, the steering levers for the TD6 International crawler. This is just a piece of old scrap that I found, and we're going to just give it a quick skim, true it up, make it round, and then we can get a measurement on it and see where we're going with it. Well, now we've got the shaft turned. This is the top of the gearbox. The gear lever would go in here. There's your gearbox filler plug. The levers, this pin will go through the bushes in there, what I've yet to turn. We've turned a new shaft because the other one had wear on it, just out of a bit of old scrap. It has like a locating bolt here, a pinch bolt that just holds it in position. So to mark that, just in case the casting's not 100% true, we're just going to take a transfer punch, which marks, if you see there, it's got a centre in it, and that, just pick one that's a good size. I think, which size is that? It's a 21/64. Give that a whack, and then we know where that is. We've got the end right here, flush here, and then we just cut this off, and that's this bit done. It's on to making the bushings. Now I've routed through all my brass stock because I keep saving bits from work, you know, bar ends, bits of bar all over the place, and I've found some bronze. This is what I actually turned them out of. It already had the hole through, which is a major help, saves boring all that and wasting that material because it's expensive to buy. And we've knocked up the rough blanks for the 4 bushings. The OD's sorted, we just need to machine the centres out to suit that new bar that we've just turned, the new shaft. Here's the old shaft. As you can see the step in it there. It's quite, when you feel it, you can feel the lumps and bumps in it. Got to remember though, it's like over 80 years old, and the length of them levers vibrating on it has worn it. It's just to take the play out, make it a bit more nice to drive, I suppose. Anyway, we'll probably use this for something, turn it down, make it true, and use it on another job. Throw nothing away. This is the second bush. We've got one knocked out already. Got the first one set up, got it to a nice fit, just got a little bit of click in it. You've got to have a little bit of space for grease to get around it, otherwise it bind up. Also, when the bush is pressed in, it might shrink a bit and might have to just run a reamer through. You know, it's all suck it and see job. Anyway, now as I've found where I was happy with the first one, set the 0 on the digital readout, and then just keep boring out till we hit 0 on the top scale there, which is 1,002 temps there. So it's just a production run now, but that's nice. I like it. And there we have the finished article, straight from International Harvester's Chicago plant. Sliding by, well, pushing by hand with a bit of force. Now we've finished this job. You can see the new bronze bushes in there. I've just had to give them a quick wipe out with the expanding reamer, just to make them a nice fit. You've got to have a little bit of room for grease, but that is going to make it a lot more precise and just nicer to use. And here we have the finished item. These gaps here, there's some like washers with like a teardrop washer and springs and hooks, return springs, they need to sandwich in there. But there's a new pin, the locating hole, and when we come up here, we've got, hang on, it's rocking on the floor, wedge it with my feet. We've got virtually no movement at all. So that's put the newness back into that. It's always nice to have the controls right. There's nothing worse than driving somewhere all painted up and the steering's wonky or linkages are floppy. Anyway, that's that job done. Took a bit longer than I thought, messing about a couple of nights after work, but it's done, it's finished with now. Hopefully never have to do that again, on this tractor anyway. Here's the throttle lever off the the TD6, getting confused there. These always are a bit loose and worn. The weight of all that cast from the pivot point there, you know, it's a good 10 inches or so. Anyway, I put the bolt in the lathe, put it in the chuck, put a centre in it, and took a skim off the bolt. So we've got a nice true surface again. And then if you can just see there, focus, there we go. We spun a bush up on the lathe, machined it out to 7/8, and then machined the ID to suit the bolt, which would turn to a new face, so it's a nice snug fit, nice slick fit. See, look, it's that good. It holds itself up, it doesn't fall through. And but it's just little things like that that people pick up on when they drive it, view it, have a look at it. Anyway, putting the newness back.